Hello, everyone! A country blessed with so much natural beauty that it could easily earn millions of dollars every year just from tourism. But sadly, 79 years after independence, we've had such incompetent rulers who never seriously thought about this grand vision. This is the country that became the world's first Islamic nation to develop nuclear capability. When it became a nuclear power, no one celebrated more than the Palestinians, because they saw it as a strong new backbone for the Muslim Ummah. When white people from the West come here, they're stunned by its mountains, valleys, rivers, and breathtaking landscapes. Yet strangely, the people of this very country often think Switzerland and Europe are more beautiful. Every citizen here struggles for hours every day just to earn 2 meals. Yet the average person is now carrying more than 300,000 rupees, 1,000 plus in debt. Meanwhile, rulers wearing crore rupee shoes take selfies with barefoot children and tell them they're their well-wishers. Inflation has reached such levels that everyone is suffering, and the country's system appears to be slowly falling apart. It breaks the heart to watch. But my dear viewers, I promise today's video will show you such beautiful colors of this country that your soul will feel refreshed. In this video, we'll take you through the vibrant energy of Karachi, the historic charm and food of Lahore, the stunning views of Islamabad, the heavenly valleys of Kashmir, Neelam Valley, fairy meadows, and other captivating places, plus a journey on the legendary Karakoram Highway, a masterpiece of human engineering. We'll also reveal some astonishing secrets and beauties of this land that will deepen your love and pride for your soil and your homeland even more. And friends, this country is none other than our beloved Pakistan, the heart of Asia. There are countries that feel like they were built to win but somehow never started the game. Pakistan is one of them, and it hits you immediately when you look at the map. This is not a country short on resources. It's the opposite: towering mountains packed with minerals, rivers that cut through some of the most fertile land in Asia, a coastline sitting directly on major global trade routes, gold, copper, gas, rare earth potential, a natural portfolio that should have rewritten its economic story decades ago. Pause here, because logically, this level of wealth should look different. More tourism, more infrastructure, more global attention. But that's not what you see. Instead, what you see is delay, systems that move slower than the land beneath them, opportunities that stay mapped but not activated. And that's where the paradox becomes impossible to ignore. It's not that Pakistan lacks value. It's that value hasn't been fully translated into power. So the question shifts. How does a country stand on this much natural wealth and still struggle to turn it into long-term momentum? Because sometimes the hardest resource to unlock isn't under the ground. It's the system above it. Sometimes a country isn't shaped by what it has, but by who surrounds it. Pakistan feels exactly like that. Look at it on a map, and it almost doesn't sit quietly. It sits under pressure. To the east is India, large, fast-moving, constantly expanding its economic and political reach. To the west is Iran, shaped by sanctions, energy politics, and long-standing tension with the world. To the northwest is Afghanistan, unstable, unpredictable, still dealing with the weight of decades of conflict. And to the north, China, one of the most powerful and fast-moving economies on the planet. Now stop for a second, because Pakistan is right in the middle of all of it. Not on the edge, not isolated, right in the center of overlapping influence. And that changes everything. Its coastline opens directly into the Arabian Sea. Ports like Karachi and Gwadar don't just serve local trade, they sit in routes that connect Asia, the Middle East, and beyond. Which means every move here is never just local. It's regional, sometimes global. And that's the paradox. A country that should be focused inward constantly has to look outward, because in this part of the world, geography is not background detail. It's pressure, it's opportunity, and sometimes it's both at the exact same time. Sometimes a country doesn't feel like it belongs to just one climate. Pakistan is exactly that kind of place. And it hits you the moment you zoom into it. Because here, nature doesn't transition slowly. It jumps. You can be standing in a place where the sun feels like it's pressing down on your shoulders, temperatures pushing past 50 degrees Celsius. Air so dry it feels like it disappears before you can breathe it. And then, not far from that same country, everything changes. Completely. You move into cold so sharp, it doesn't just touch your skin, it stays there, below -50. Silence everywhere. Snow covering land that looks like it forgot what warmth even means. Pause here, because that contrast shouldn't feel this close, but it is. Deserts that stretch like they'll never end. Conic, and then peaks like K2 and Nanga Parbat rising so high, they disappear into cloud systems above them. It doesn't feel like one environment. It feels like multiple worlds sharing the same borders. And the strange part? You don't travel hours to feel this shift. Sometimes it happens within the same region, the same journey. That's where the paradox sits. Pakistan isn't just diverse in nature, it's extreme in every direction at once. If geography felt extreme, language feels even more fractured. Pakistan doesn't speak in one voice, and that's the first thing you notice when you move through it. Urdu sits at the center, the official language, the symbol of unity on paper. But once you step into real life, that idea starts to blur, because the country starts splitting into sound. Punjabi dominates the plains, fast, loud, everywhere. Pashto carries through the mountains and border zones, heavier, more guarded. Sindhi flows through the south with its own rhythm, almost musical in tone. And Balochi spreads across vast open land where silence feels just as important as speech. Pause here, because this is not just language variation, it's identity shifting every few hundred kilometers. Conic. You can drive a short distance and feel the change immediately. Not just in words, but in behavior, expression, even the way people look at you. It feels like crossing invisible borders without any checkpoint. And yet nothing changes on the map. That's the paradox. One country, one flag, one official language. But underneath it, a system of voices that don't always align, but still coexist. And somehow, that complexity doesn't break the country. It layers it. Here's something most people never stop to think about. A country that had around 30 million people in 1947 is now home to more than 250 million. That's not just growth. That's an explosion of human life happening almost in real time. Every year, entire cities seem to appear inside the country's borders. Schools overflow, streets stretch wider, and families grow faster than systems can keep up. But behind the numbers, there's something more human, a young generation that is massive, restless, and full of potential, yet often running faster than opportunity itself. This is where the paradox begins. More people should mean more power, more innovation, more growth. But in reality, pressure builds just as fast as population, and still life moves forward. Markets stay crowded. Conic buses stay full. Dreams keep getting bigger, even when space feels smaller. Because in a country like this, growth is not a policy. It's a reality you can feel on every street corner. And that pressure connects back to everything we've seen so far. Resources, geography, and opportunity waiting to be fully unlocked. The question is not how big the population is, but what it becomes next. That's the real story still unfolding. Most people look at a map and see borders. But under Pakistan, the map keeps going, deeper, heavier, more complicated than it looks from above. Coal layers stretch across underground belts like slow-burning energy waiting to be released. Copper sits in mineral pockets formed over millions of years. Natural gas fields move quietly beneath regions that look ordinary on the surface. Even traces of gold appear in geological surveys that rarely make headlines. And then there is Balochistan, a region often described in one word, vast. But vast doesn't really explain it. It feels more like a locked vault the earth hasn't finished opening yet, a place where surveys suggest enormous value, but extraction and infrastructure don't always move at the same pace. Conic. And that's where the contradiction starts to sharpen. Because the resources are real, measurable, documented. But turning them into national strength requires more than discovery. It requires systems that can carry weight, investment, stability, logistics, and long-term planning working together without breaking under pressure. So what you get is this quiet tension, a land rich in raw potential, but still searching for the full mechanism to unlock it. And this connects everything before it: population pressure, geography, and economic strain, because underground wealth doesn't change a country on its own. What changes everything is what a nation is able to build on top of it. This is what makes Pakistan feel different the moment you look closer. It's not a country with just history. It's a country where history is still standing next to modern life, refusing to disappear. In Lahore, you don't visit the Mughal era. You walk through it. Ancient forts, old gates, centuries of architecture, just a few steps away from highways, traffic, and modern city noise. Karachi feels even more intense. A city that never really pauses, new buildings rising fast, while older layers of trade, migration, and coastal life still sit underneath everything. Then there's Islamabad, clean, planned, structured. A capital designed like a blueprint brought to life, almost like someone tried to organize chaos before it even arrived. But here's the paradox. These cities are not separate identities. They are stacked timelines. Over 5,000 years of civilizations, empires, cultures, migrations, still visible in the same living space where people commute, work, and build the future. Nothing is fully replaced here. Everything is layered. And that creates a strange feeling. Modern Pakistan is not erasing its past. It is building on top of it while still carrying it forward at the same time. It doesn't feel like a road. It feels like something the mountains are still negotiating with humans over. The Karakoram Highway cuts through the Karakoram Range, linking northern Pakistan with western China, across one of the most violent and unstable landscapes on Earth. And the first reality hits immediately. Nothing here is stable. Not the cliffs, not the rivers, not even the ground beneath the asphalt. Everything moves, just not on human time. A road that exists in the morning can disappear by night, not in a dramatic collapse, just erased by rock, ice, or gravity deciding to shift again. And still it returns, over and over. Engineers don't finish this highway. They chase it, repair it, rebuild it in places where nature refuses to stop rewriting the map. Iconic rockfalls are not rare events here. They are part of the system. The mountains don't block the road. They remind it who is in control. Traffic doesn't flow. It survives. Every vehicle moves like caution is part of the engine. And along this fragile line, entire communities depend on something that can vanish overnight. When it closes, there is no alternative, no detour, only isolation. And that's the paradox. This highway was built to connect two nations, but it exists inside a landscape that keeps questioning whether that connection should survive at all. This is the paradox you don't see on headlines. A country where struggle isn't loud, it's daily. Prices change faster than plans. A salary that disappears before the month ends. A receipt that feels heavier every time you look at it twice. And still, people don't stop. They adjust, quietly, almost automatically. A father skips what he needs, so his children don't notice anything missing. A shopkeeper opens his store early, even when yesterday barely worked. A student walks past uncertainty like it's part of the route. Nothing dramatic. No collapse scene. Just repetition under pressure. Economists call it inflation, debt, instability. People call it life. And that gap between those two versions is where reality lives. Because here, hardship doesn't always break things. Sometimes it just reshapes them. Dreams don't disappear either. They just get postponed carefully, repeatedly, without anyone announcing it. And maybe the most striking part is this: even when the math stops making sense, the routine still does. A kind of silent agreement with tomorrow. We'll deal with it when it comes. If this gives you a new perspective, please subscribe for more interesting insights. And let me know what resonated with you most in today's video. Thank you for watching the whole video. See you in the next one.